This is Stacy Wade and the wonderful Melissa Ramsey. We are getting to sit down today and just learn a little bit more about each other. And we've got some awesome questions in front of us that were kind of fun to look into. So
yeah,
I'm going to throw one at you.
Oh gosh, ready? I don't know if I'm ready.
Just try.
Okay.
All right. So was anesthesia your first career choice?
Honestly, no.
Oh, nice.
I will say nursing was my first career choice because when I was younger, I saw, like, I had this aunt and I used to love her and look up to her, and she was a nurse, so I knew I wanted to be a nurse. What about you?
No.
What?
No. So, growing up, you know, like your classic, like ballerina, veterinarian.
Mm-hmm.
Going to college, I specifically went to Colorado State because I wanted to be a dietitian.
Interesting.
I was obsessed with nutrition in high school.
Okay.
I would like read books on minerals and vitamins, and that was like my pastime. But then when I got into college, it was really at the end that I decided, I was like, I think I need to be a doctor. It was kind of combined with working in the hospital, doing dietary stuff, and seeing everyone that worked in the hospital and being like, oh, like this, I didn't know this intrigued me. So, and then it wasn't until third year of med school when someone was like, hey, you know, if you do an anesthesia rotation, they really let you be involved and really let you learn things. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And like day one.
Wow.
Day one, like absolutely on fire, obsessed with it.
Wow.
So,
well, that's interesting.
Weird path.
Yeah, that is, but it's a good path. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I get to work with you.
Same.
You're an amazing anesthesiologist. Throw that out there. And I'm not just saying
stop.
that. Like, I really do mean that. You really are great.
Well, that's very
Great
kind.
bedside, great clinical skills, smarts, the whole shebang.
Okay, so off of that,
Mm-hmm.
what's your most embarrassing event in the OR? Now that we're in our field of choice,
I
what would you
think
say?
it's always the same because it happens frequently because I'm clumsy. I bump into something or run into something, like my thigh hits something, my hips hit something. Probably the worst has been maybe like a light has been down and I walked into it and hit my head and I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm cool, nothing to see here. And the light like beaming in my eyes. I'm like, oh Lord, I hope I'm okay. But usually I'm bumping into something, but I do try to make a habit now of if I'm squatting down for whatever reason, like emptying a Foley or something like that, I try to look up before I stand up too quickly. So usually it's going to be something clumsy, like bumping into something, and I go home with bruises, and I'm like, oh, where'd that come from?
Yes.
So
I was going to say the same thing. I have random bruises. Like I feel like if I'm in like ortho rooms or where we're going pro or something, I'll come home with bruises on my thighs and be like, oh, where did these come from?
Yeah, and then you just keep moving.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's too many things to hit our head on in the OR.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So outside of the OR, what is the most adventurous thing you've done?
I think it would have to be when my husband Josh and I, we lived in Honduras for a year.
Oh, I feel like I knew that.
We took, I feel like, because I was here, you know, in third year, and did third year rotations, and then we really wanted to do some mission work, but we wanted a way to, you know, have it funded and be able to do it, and I knew at that point during third year that I was either going to do obstetrics or anesthesia, and it was like anesthesia or obstetrics. This is how it was.
And now you kind of do both.
It was like, now I kind of do both. But we lived down there. My husband was a teacher, and I just volunteered in kind of like the inner city hospitals.
Okay.
And that was, I mean, if you go in there and you're like, if you're not speaking Spanish, you're not talking to anyone like all day, because they're just looking at you like, who's this gringo that has walked into our hospital? But I loved it because, you know, every day was a challenge because, you know, you were outside of your comfort zone constantly. Right. And, you know, learning how just to go get groceries and how to get what you need. It was just, you know, it was completely out of your comfort zone like for an entire year. But at the end of it, it was like we didn't want to leave because it's simple.
Yeah.
It was a simple life,
you know.
All the power turned off in the whole country, or at least in the city where we lived on Sundays. Every Sunday, no power.
Really?
So, like, you just get used to, like, I don't know, adapting?
Wait, like, seriously, power went out.
Seriously, every Sunday.
Like, no lights in the house.
No lights, no nothing.
What happens to your food in the refrigerator and that stuff? Like, what?
I don't even remember what we did.
Oh,
maybe it was
okay.
for like a set number of hours, because I knew
Yeah.
we planned around it. We're like, well, we'll just hang outside or something. So I don't remember the specifics, but it was every Sunday. But it was just, I don't know. I would say that would be the most of interest, because it was just like constantly being pressed.
I like that. Kind of like a mandatory reset.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, well, you just kind of did things outside, or you kind of banked on it. You didn't really have a lot to do on that day, so you kind of like, it was like we were forced into simplifying our lives. And at the end of the year, we were like, we don't want to leave.
Right.
Like, we're scared to go back to the craziness of like,
get it done, respond to the email, get here, come to the workroom, and
Exactly.
Yes, exactly.
We're like, no, I
Yeah.
think we need to do this. We need this.
Nice.
All right, so this is outside the hour too.
Okay.
What is one hobby you would love to start if you could pick any hobby and start it tomorrow?
Honestly, okay, so I've thought about this a little bit. My initial response is gardening.
Ooh.
To garden my own food, because I really love food. I really love vegetables. I really love fresh vegetables.
Okay.
I am, in my heart of hearts, I would love to be a vegan, but I love cake too much, so I can't give up. I would be a dessert loving vegan, because I can do without like meats and stuff. So I would love to garden my own foods, tomatoes, okra. Like, I would love to do that.
Nice.
But on the flip side, as I think about it, that would cause me to have to cook my own food.
Yeah,
So
you have all this. You're like, I will give it to you to not make me food.
So, but I still think gardening, because that's something that I think the end product, and then it goes back to the simplicity of life, the simplicity of things. The older I've gotten, I realize life didn't have to be as busy as it should be. Like in the last probably 6 weeks, I've taken my Sundays and tried to do less.
Nice.
Just to kind of reset, to kind of, get ready, because of course, when Monday comes, it's, all hands on deck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think gardening would be my choice, would be my thing.
I love that. And I feel like when you take time to do that, it's really hard to get yourself to do it, because there's like a lot of guilt about like, oh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. But once you're in it, like a little simple activity like that, tending to something that you enjoy, being outside, like you get so much from it. But to make ourselves get to that point, it's really hard.
Yeah, to even start the process, to find an area in my yard to do, like it will be a process.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I would love to do. That's one hobby I would love to do. So tell me one thing that you don't own that you would like to own.
You could say the list is pretty long. Because we all like stuff.
Right.
But one thing I was actually thinking about yesterday is, fun fact, I started taking piano lessons with my 8-year-old daughter.
That's cool.
We're doing like it together. And that's been really, really fun. But we have a really, really old like secondhand piano that even now that it's tuned, it's not right. It does not sound quite right. So I would love like a brand new upright, because I don't have room for like a grand, and I am just beginning, so I don't need that.
Yeah.
But like that would be really fun to have a new one that sounded really good and was really pretty too.
Yeah.
I think we're way too beginner to deserve
when did
a
y'all
piano.
start? Yeah.
A month and a half ago.
Okay.
Now we go downstairs and we kind of practice together.
Yeah.
So it gave her,
awesome.
hopefully it gave her more confidence to do it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of turning into a really fun outlet for me.
Yes.
So this is close to my heart. What is the last book you read?
Okay.
Or what are you reading now? Like what?
Okay, small book club.
Okay.
Some of us from here at the Main, some of us at Highlands have a book club. We read a book a month. I don't read every book every month. I read one every so often.
Gotcha.
But the last one I did, I didn't do the last one, but I did the one before, The Nightingale, because the movie came out.
Yes.
Yes. That was a good, and I'm glad I read that, because that was so good. What's the best or worst fad that you have participated in?
One fad I kept participating in over and over and over was perming my hair. As you can see, it is like the world's straightest hair. Straightest hair. But I think one of my best friends had to curl the hair or something, because I was desperate. I wanted it so bad. I went as often as my hairdresser told me I could, and it legit would stay in for like maybe 6 weeks.
Really? And you had to
Maybe
go right
even
back.
3. And my hair would be like, no. And so, but it was, I never gave up. I just was like, nope, I'm going to have curly hair. It's going to happen. It's like that, I don't know, the word fad.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's like
That's what I
associated
think.
with perms.
The
for
80s,
me.
90s type of vibe, the whatever
Thank
was
you.
going
I'm not
on.
crazy.
Yeah. Yes. Totally. That's
Yes.
exactly what I thought when I
Okay.
thought fad. I will throw my fad out there
Yes,
only
please
because I thought it was it's so ridiculous. But you remember when people like razor off their eyebrows and then draw them back on?
Yes.
I used to participate in that. That's the stupidest thing in the world. Like, why?
But it was huge.
And not only that, why did my mom
was-
let me? Like, why didn't she take the razor from me?
That's when you're like, let's go back on this, Mom.
Yes.
Let's discuss this. Because
Yes.
why did you allow this?
Meaning
I
to
don't
take,
know.
cut out, and you cut off the end, and you just draw it back on. So yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Oh
what
my
that was
gosh.
my worst fad.